Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. We've made it to almost the weekend. We're here to tell you all the news stories you need to hear before the weekend so you don't have to worry about it. No doom scrolling. Go enjoy your life, touch some grass, and don't let the social media CEOs control your life. This is Before Coffee, the first and only international game show, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our news right before we've started. We've just got coffee in our veins and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into our Friday headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Friday's news dump, Congo says its Mpox outbreak is over after 2 years and thousands of cases. Plus, Netflix refund. Court orders damages up to €500 for illegitimate price increases.
Greetings on Friday's news dump, where Pam Blondie is out as Attorney General, and I wonder if Trump thinks it's because she claimed the Dow was at 50,000 and it's not at 50,000 anymore. That's how Trump's brain works. He's blaming her for the Dow. Go. That's all. My first story.
Hungarian opposition leader Peter Magyar calls election a referendum on Hungary's place in the world. And priceless ancient golden helmet from Romania, stolen from Dutch museum, is recovered.
And if you're a big tech company, you got to start protecting children. Are we just going to take away your rights? That's a verdict against Meta and Google may bring new accountability.
Taking my clothes off is my whole life. Bryan Cranston on the glorious gross-out return of Malcolm in the Middle in My Culture news.
Malcolm in the Middle, the most dysfunctional family this side of, I don't know, the Clampets, I guess. And it's National, let's see what it is. It's National Tweed Day? It's got to be something else, right? National Tweed Day, what the hell is that? It's National Find a Rainbow Day. You gotta go wait for it to rain, I guess. But yeah. Or just make an oil slick in your driveway. It's April 3rd, 2026 on Before Coffee. Water. You gotta mix it with water. You gotta create.
Yeah, of course. Go make just have a minor environmental oil spill in your driveway to get that rainbow spreading. It's always made me
antifreeze. Nothing antifreeze.
It's always made me laugh that, you know, the rainbow has been so owned by I guess the gay community, right? That now nobody can use a rainbow, right? That's gay! Actually, it's just a rainbow. No, it's gay rights!
That's so funny. I'm against rainbows! You're against rainbows? What the fuck is wrong with
natural occurrence in the sky?
How horrible of a dad do you gotta be? Your little kid goes, Dad, look, a rainbow! Oh my God, don't look! Huh?
I didn't get into shock therapy!
I'm gonna turn you gay! You're gonna turn into Neil Patrick Harris overnight. You'll be normal college kid, and then one day you're a gay guy.
Because you saw a rainbow in the sky. Oh God! Appreciating the beauty of nature is gay now. So sad.
Whatever you do. The rainbows are actually round. Rainbows are round. You just don't see the bottom half.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the orb. What do you call it? The horizon gets in the way.
Right, the horizon gets in the way. But if you were to step back, somehow you can
into
see
the sky.
Yeah, you can see it from the sky. You can see rainbows from the sky. You can see round ones because you can see the whole ground or the whole what is it?
The sky. Our first segue.
When it's harder to see from the sky, I imagine, right? Because you're seeing it from a different angle. The light's being refracted in front of your face. That light is right in your face, by the way. It isn't 7 miles away. It's right in your face. You just don't feel it. Anyway, sorry.
Our first segue is associate for my two stories. So let's see what you can associate the Congo Mpox outbreak with? I'm sure you already have some ideas. This is on AP News, coming out of Cape Town, South Africa.
Measles update today.
Yeah,
you still can. Measles update. Yeah.
You can still add. You can still add a short story if you want. This is coming out. This is coming from yesterday, the 2nd of April. Congo declared it the end of its 2-year outbreak of the Mpox disease. That's believed to have caused more than 2,200 deaths in the country. Health Minister Roger Kamba told journalists that the government had made the determination that the outbreak was over and no longer a national emergency. Congo, a vast country in Central Africa, was at the center of an outbreak of the infectious viral disease that spread to neighboring countries in 2024 and prompted the World Health Organization to declare it a global health emergency as it spilled over borders. WHO ended the global health emergency declaration in September of last year. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that there were more than 161,000 suspected cases of Mpox in Congo during the outbreak between 24 and 26, with around 36,000 of them confirmed through tests. The Africa CDC said there were 2,286 suspected deaths, but only 127 were confirmed by tests. Because some people can just die from complications due to having the disease, but not the actual disease, right? It's how they skewed the numbers when COVID broke out, right? Oh no, they didn't die from COVID. They died from pneumonia. Yeah, but the pneumonia was caused by COVID, right? You could only have gotten that bad case of a pneumonia because you had COVID. But that's how scientists do things. They have to be very direct and accurate. They can't just make a broad assumption just because you died of pneumonia that you must have died of the disease. So only 107 were actually confirmed that Mpox killed them. Also known as monkeypox, it was first identified by scientists in 1958, when there were outbreaks of a pox-like disease in monkeys. Until a few years ago, most human cases were seen in people in Central and West Africa who had close contact with infected animals. In 2022, the virus was confirmed to spread via sex for the first time and triggered outbreaks in more than 70 countries that had not previously reported Mpox. Somebody had sex with a monkey, or was in contact with a monkey that had the virus and then had sex with somebody and then it spread like wildfire. The most common symptoms of Mpox, according to WHO, are a rash and fever, but it can sometimes cause serious illness. Most people recover fully. So it's not a deadly disease, but a lot of people die from fevers. I mean, 2,000 people dying is still bad, but, you know, It's over now. Yay! They finished it. They're done with monkeypox.
Okay.
That's the end of my story.
And I will associate this, which I did at the beginning, with measles in the United States, because, hey, I'm just updating. There's a website here, Johns Hopkins, that does a tracking of measles cases. I'm not going by the government CDC, because they're just going to suppress the information, because they're run by a idiot, Bobby Kennedy. But it's got a map here. It's got a map. There's 155 cases this past 2 weeks. And man, Utah is the epicenter. Utah and Florida. Yeah. Oh my God, El Paso, Texas is a hot spot. Holy shit. Anyway, there's your hot spots for measles. Yeah. Oregon, Washington, nothing in Maryland yet, but Virginia's got a couple. South Carolina, yeah. We're gonna just go check on this map periodically, and once the dots fill in is stupid people. Must be the Mormons must be anti-vax. That's why Utah is big on this, right? There's a bunch of big dots in Utah. Way to go, Mormons, killing your own population. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but hey, I don't know. It's okay
if you die from disease. It's because God chose to kill you. So
that's right, and you're going to be on a cloud with. You're going to have your own. According to the Mormon Church, you're going to have your own cloud with all your relatives are going to be in your cloud. I don't know who's going to be on their cloud because they're all going to be on your cloud. So.
Oh right, yeah, that's how Mormonism works.
Everybody's on everybody's cloud somehow, right? You're so ubiquitous in heaven that you're everybody's cloud at the same time. Why not? If you're going to believe shit, you might as well go all the way, right? Anyway, let's have another story. I'm sorry.
No, give me here we go. Let me give you a something humorous-ish. Our next story
I think we figured
is
out God. Anyway, I think we figured
coming
it out.
out of Europe. This is a short story from Redazione Curcanacca on the Il Fata Quotidiano, Italy. Illegitimate subscription
Whoa.
price increases, and now the customers are entitled to refunds. That is what's coming out of a decision of the Rome court, which upheld action brought by consumer movement against Netflix Italy. It is destined to mark a turning point, and naturally to satisfy millions of people. The judges have found, according to the association, of unfair nature and therefore nullity of the clauses that allowed for price changes of other contractual conditions from 2017 to January 2024. As in, they decided to increase the price, and they didn't explain why they increased the price, so that price was illegal. Price increase was illegal. We decided, hey, everyone's using Netflix, let's increase the price to 24 euros. What are they going to do? Stop paying? Ha ha ha. A premium customer a premium customer who has paid Netflix continuously from 2017 to today is entitled to a refund of approximately 500 euros, while a standard customer is entitled to a refund of approximately 250 euros. That means every Netflix customer in Italy can go to probably a website somewhere and say, here's proof that I was billed by Netflix from those periods. Give me my refund. The unlawful increase also affects the basic plan, which we saw a €2 increase in October 2024. According to Movimento Consumatori, the ruling requires Netflix to also reduce the prices of current subscriptions by an amount equal to the unlawful increases. If Netflix does not immediately reduce prices and refund customers, declares Alessandro Mastriasio, president of the Movimento Consumatori, we will launch a class action lawsuit to ensure that all users receive a refund of the amounts unduly paid. The clauses that allowed subscription prices changes in violation of the Consumer Code permitted changes without specifying a justified reason in the contract. Consequently, the unilateral subscription increases implemented by Netflix in 2017, 2019, 2021, and November 24. That's a lot of price increases in a small period of time. What the fuck? With the exception of an increase related to contracts signed after January 2024, were declared unlawful, explains Movimento Consumi. Each subscriber will be entitled to a reduction in the current subscription price, the refund of any sums unduly paid, and any compensation for damages. The decision, Paolo Fiori and Corrado Pina, lawyers who assisted the MC in the case, specify, affects millions of consumers. It is estimated in Italy, Netflix has grown from 1.9 million customers in 2019 to approximately 5.4 million by October 2025. Oh my god! That's a huge increase.
Cash cow.
Wow, they were like, wow, we have 5 million people in Italy. Let's raise the price all the way to 25 euros. I actually don't know what the price is in Italy for Netflix. I'll look it up. But for the premium plan, which I think is the one where you don't get any ads and you get perfect streaming and all that bullshit and probably family sharing and all that thing, right? The big expensive plan, the unlawful increase applied in 2017, 2019, 2021, and 24 currently amount to a total of 8 euros per month, while for the standard plan, the increase currently amounts to a total of 4 euros per month. So I guess in that total year, it went from... they added 8 euros. I think that's what they're trying to say? Yeah. Meanwhile, the company announced, we will appeal the decision. At Netflix, our members come first. We take consumer rights very seriously and believe our terms have always been in line with Italian law and practices, a Netflix spokesperson said. So let me look up real quick. Netflix Italian pricing and see if there's a... If anybody can tell me what the actual prices were. So, standard plan with advertising. Let me finish what I'm saying first before you do a comparison. The standard plan with advertising goes from 549 euros to 6.99 per month. So that was in That was this is in 2024. So that was like a big increase here. So if it increased from 8 euros, I guess we could say that would be like, what, another 1 euro? So it used to be in 2019 or 2017. Really, what? That's crazy. It couldn't have been that cheap. Like, what, 2 euros or something? I have no idea. Oh, no. They said the standard subscription only increased by... No, they did say 4 euros. Okay, so if right now it's about 7 euros or 8 euros... I think it's 7, yeah. If it's about 7 euros right now, that means it used to be, what, 3 euros or something a month for Netflix annually in a standard plan. The standard plan without advertising rises from 12 to 13. And then the premium plan went from 17 to 19. So it went to 20. And that premium plan rolls 8 euros. So it used to be 10. It used to be 10 euros-ish in 2017, and they increased it by 8 since then, or maybe 11 euros, probably 10.99, right, or something like that, but or 11.99, and I can agree with that because I know the prices in the Netherlands have also increased, which is crazy. But here you go. Give me your comparison.
I was just gonna do an association. Netflix is let's see what's it. Oh, they're also ruining sports, by the way. They get an NFL game like once or twice a year now, and they overcover it. Like they put 15 correspondents there. They all got something to say, and none of them are interesting. They all say the same fucking thing. I think these teams are gonna win. I think this team's gonna win. They had nothing to say. They wasted all that money paying people that nobody wants to see. By the way, if you're showing football, just show football. Nobody cares about the crowd interviews. Who wants to meet people in the crowd? We want to see the game. So they've ruined football, their broadcast. You need to straighten that out. This year they started doing baseball, and they screwed up the opening game. They did the actual opening game between the Yankees and the Giants, and they fucked it up. Because this is the first year where umpires are, you can challenge balls and strikes. Like they have an ABS system. This is overly long. But the first ever challenge of a ABS system in the history of Major League Baseball, and Netflix completely missed it. They were too busy interviewing somebody in a dugout. A historic moment going out in the field, and they're totally not even paying attention to the game. Netflix, get out of or just hire somebody that knows what they're doing. Because we don't want crowd work at a game. You know, it's a game.
I agree.
Crowd work.
And what's funny that
it's
funny that you're complaining about this because it's exactly what people were complaining about during the BTS Live event as well. Like
crowd work?
I mean you know how how K-pop is, right? They do dances on stage. You don't want to see the crowd. You want to see the people dancing, and you can't see them if you're looking at a fucking hotel building in a huge crowd. So a lot of people were complaining. They definitely have a problem with that, and they need to find whoever's doing this. I think the problem is they're hiring directors who do like documentaries, which B footage is great for documentaries. Here's the voiceover. Look at the crowds at the thing. We don't need that for the live event. Just look at the fucking people we're paid to see, and then that's it. I agree with you completely.
It's a Woodstock documentary, and you want to show the 100,000 people in the crowd. Yeah, that's cool. Or if it's
it's crazy. I'm completely with you there.
Documenting like Leonard Skinner playing in Oakland in 1977. That one they pan the crowd a lot. I was like, I can get it because
maybe you can see yourself in the crowd. I was there that day, but it's not important for sports.
This documentary. This is why the best videos for concerts are usually the phone videos from the crowd because they're not panning the crowd. They're They're looking at the stage. This is why
they're seeing the people you're performing. Because we're doing it better with our damn phones.
Luckily, I got to see a lot of civilians in their seats. That was really worth it, right? Okay, spin the wheel. I agree on that. What a waste.
I've never agreed with something you've said so hardly like this.
Crowd work. I did not want to watch fucking crowd work. There's a goddamn challenge going on to the called strike, and you're ignoring it so you can talk to a player.
I miss somebody stealing a base. Yeah. I miss somebody stealing a base because you're looking at people kissing in the stands.
Netflix, stop trying to make a story out of a game. It's just a game. Yeah. Cover the game. Anyway.
Our next segue is a limerick. So give me a story to talk about here.
Limerick. Oh boy. All right, I got one story. We're going to talk about, I guess we're going to talk about Scam Blondie is out. And I'm pretty sure Trump thinks one of two things, or maybe both. He might think she actually caused the stock market to fall down to 46,000 because he claimed, oh, the stock market's $50,000. A strange thing for the Attorney General claim. It has nothing to do with her job. But anyway, she no longer has that job because the stock market has gotten nowhere near 50,000 since that day. It was February 11th, by the way. That was almost 2 months ago. 2 months ago, almost, February 11th, Pam Bondi said the stock market is 50,000. The stock market has not been 50,000.
And that's why we can kill protesters in the street, because that's what for anybody who doesn't know why she said that.
What do you? I can't believe you people want your rights. Don't you realize rich people are getting richer? What's wrong with you?
Who cares about your rights?
Yachts employ people too. Yachts, yeah.
Oh, your phone's going off.
Yeah, no, it's
scam likely calling again.
It says potential spam.
Oh,
potential spam.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
I hate to waste people's potential, you know. Anyway, so let's do this, Pam. Or the other reason is Stinky the Clown probably thinks, hey, if I fire her, she won't have to testify in a couple of weeks before the House or Senate. I think they both subpoenaed her. It's like, why aren't you releasing the Epstein files? Well, she's off the hook now. She's just off the hook. Although she can still go to prison for a bunch of other shit she already did. But she still has to testify. AP News has a story. Pam Bondi's as Trump's attorney general. It took, holy Christ, four reporters. Alana Durkin-Ricker, Eric Tucker, Michael Balsamo, and Michelle Price to write this story. Diaper Donnie said Thursday that Pam Bondi is out as his attorney general, ending the contentious tenure of loyalists who upended the Justice Department culture of independence from the White House. She broke the law, upended my ass, oversaw large-scale firings of career employees and moved aggressively to investigate reporters. Yeah, a fascist. They're not going to stop being a fascist, by the way. This is like rearranging the deck chairs in the Titanic. Nothing's changing. The departure followed months after scrutiny after the Justice Department handling of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking investigation and failed efforts to meet Stinky the Clown's unwavering demands for criminal cases against his adversaries. As Stinky's own frustration mounted, he began privately discussing firing Bondi. People familiar with the matter say, yeah, Trump's solution to everything, fire it. That's all he's ever done. It's all he's known for. Firing people and not paying them, by the way.
That is literally why he got famous, right? For his whole "you're fired" meme that he used to do.
That's stupid. No, he was famous before that stupid show.
Yeah,
unfortunately. We were cursed with Donald Trump for decades before he got that stupid show on NBC. Here's what Stinky had to say about Scam Blondie. She is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my attorney general the past year. We love Pam and she will be transitioning to much needed important new jobs in the private sector being outside. Oh, gives a shit. Trump named Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the guy who bought Ghislaine Maxwell a puppy. That guy is now the acting Attorney General. He bought her a puppy because every convicted pedophile needs a puppy. Right? Cuddly little puppy. That poor puppy. I wonder if she's molesting the puppy right now.
Well, she's not. She's
Three people familiar with the matter. Whatever, man. She can do whatever she wants. Apparently, she got sent to a country club to spend out her sentence. Or she's going to name names. I guarantee you. She's like, I got names. I got names, motherfucker. You better put me in a better prison. Guarantee you that's what's happening. Three people familiar with the matter told Associated Press on Thursday he has privately discussed another idiot, Lee Zeldin, the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, as their permanent pick. Let's hope Lee Zeldin isn't a complete fucking fascist. I don't know, probably is. In her own statement, Bondi called the job the honor of a lifetime and the 50,000. Oh, I'm sorry. And she would be working over the next month to transition the position. She belongs in a jail cell. Bondi came in office 14 months ago, pledging that she would not play politics with the Justice Department, but that's exactly what she did, heaping lavish praise on congressional hearings on the White House, firing prosecutors deemed insufficiently loyal to the president, opening investigation into his political foes. Pam Bondi oversaw unprecedented weaponization of the Justice Department that brought our nation's rule of law to its knees, said Adam Schiff, U.S. Senator from California. Bondi rejected accusations that she politicized the Justice Department. Who cares what she has to say? We already know she did that. Bondi's public embrace of Stinky, however, marked a sharp departure from her predecessor, who jointly took pains to maintain arm's length distance from the White House to protect the impartiality of investigations and prosecution. Bondi postured herself as Trump's chief supporter and protector, praising and defending him as congressional hearings and placing banner with his face on the exterior of the Justice Department. Yeah, nothing says justice like a 34-time convicted felon and a guy with 4 indictments on him. There's your law and justice guy. All right, let's hear from the Epstein survivors. Bondi was ridiculed over her move to hand out binders of Epstein files to conservative influencers at the White House, only for it to be later revealed that the documents included no new revelations. And despite promises that more files are going to become public, the Justice Department still hasn't released them. They still haven't done it. Congress told them they had to. By law, they still haven't done it. Jess Michaels, an Epstein survivor, who traveled to the U.S. Capitol last year to press for the files release, said she was optimistic when Bondi took office. She lost faith after Bondi distributed the binders at the White House. I think she had an opportunity to be a hero and really did it right by survivors of sexual violence and trafficking. She chose not to. Of course, she is the Attorney General who buried the Epstein investigation to begin with when she was in Florida. It's outrageous the volume of miscalculations she's made. Miscalculations? She's planning this. This is totally calculated. Boy, these people, they think there's this honest mistake somehow. No. The Epstein files fumbles led to a stunning public criticism from White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, who somehow still has a job, a close friend of Bondi's, who told Vanity Fair that the Attorney General completely whiffed the Justice Department release of millions of pages of Epstein files did little to tamp down, prompting the House Committee. Why don't we just call it what it was, a cover-up? Stop calling it what it isn't. The release of the Epstein, it's the Epstein cover-up. Let's call it the Epstein cover-up. Stop parsing words. It's a cover-up. It is a cover-up by the president, by the Attorney General. It's a cover-up, 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 cover-up. Stop calling it Epstein file release. That's not a thing anymore. It's a cover-up. Anyway, there's your story. Let's have us a limerick about there once was a girl from Florida who something.
I don't think I did any kind of cute intro to her. Also, good morning, Johnny. Thank you for stopping by. Pam Blondie sought to make her mark. Please let me just do it.
Okay. Just joking.
Pam Blondie sought to make her mark. Dreamt of the Dow soaring, hitting a spark. But instead of her quest, she caused quite a mess. Now her reigns left the national dark.
But the Dow's at 46. It's at 46. Dow's at 46,000.
I wouldn't care even if it was at a million. It's like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Does it look like I have fucking stock?
If it wasn't for that 2-week area in friggin' early February, the Dow was down during the Trump
But the rich people have money. So. What about the rich people who are making all that money?
They're manipulating the hell out of it. Don't worry. And by the way, we're all paying tariffs. Then we're not going to get that money back either. We pay for the tariffs. We pay our taxes. We're not getting anything for it. I get anything for these tariffs. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Or they're sending our kids to war. Get that.
Segway.
It's the spin.
Go ahead and tell me a joke about golden helmets. And I forget the other story I'm doing, so let's figure out what that story is. Oh, the Hungarian election.
Ooh, Hungary.
This first story is coming from Justin Spike on AP News. Coming out of Kiskulhalas, Hungary, Hungarian opposition leader Peter Magyar says a crucial election next week, where he's facing pro-Russian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, will be a referendum on whether Hungary continues on its drift towards Eastern autocracies, or can retake its place among the democratic societies of Europe. Reminder, Hungary is one of the countries that we talked about last week that's completely destroying the rule of law in Europe. So they really need to turn shit around, or they're just going to become another dictatorship. Sad history of dictatorships. Magyar, once an Orban ally, poses the most serious threat to the nationalist prime minister's hold on power since he took office in 2010. In an exclusive interview with Associated Press, Magyar said the European Union's longest-serving leader has led the country on a 180-degree turn in recent years, endangering its Western orientation while cozying up to Moscow. Yet, despite the drift, Hungarians still see Hungary's peace and development are guaranteed by membership of the European Union and NATO. Magyar said, "I think this really will be a referendum on our country's place in the world." Magyar spoke to the AP yesterday on the 2nd of April, following an election rally by his center-right Szécha party in Kiskunhalas, a small city of around 25,000 on Hungary's southern Great Plain. It's one of hundreds of rallies he's held in settlements big and small across the country. A campaign blitz has him visiting up to 6 towns a day ahead of the April 12th election. Orban has gained a reputation as an inveterate disruptor within the EU for his frequent vetoes of important decisions, because Russia told me to veto it and I want him to give me a good pat on the head. He has campaigned by sounding the alarm on a myriad of external dangers he says are threatening Hungarians: the war in Ukraine, a cabal of EU bureaucrats and financial elites aligned against Hungary, and an immigration crisis ever on the horizon. Magyar, who is leading in most polls, has focused on issues that affect voters' everyday lives. Exactly. What's it like living in Hungary? Doesn't sound like it's too good. Like Hungary's faltering state healthcare, and public transportation sectors, wait, I can't get to work. And what he describes as rampant government corruption. That's interesting. My local leader has been able to buy 3 houses, and I can't even pay my bills. That's suspicious. At each of his rallies, he charges Orban and his nationalist populist Fidesz party with making Hungary the poorest and most corrupt country in the EU, and depicts a peaceful and humane and functioning country that is within reach. Everyone else is doing it. All 27 members of the EU are somehow not corrupt. Well, there's maybe 3 that are also just as corrupt, but most of them aren't. What's our deal? Must be somebody in charge. Yet alongside the domestic message, Magyar has increasingly portrayed Orban's brinkmanship with the EU and his drift towards Russia as a matter of critical importance for the country's future. Do you want to be ruled by Hungary, or do you want to be ruled by Russia? Make your decision now, because whether or not you think Brussels bureaucrats are controlling Hungary from the outside, they really aren't. Not like Russia will. Russia will throw your passports away and give you new ones that say Russian citizens on them. I think that Szécha will have an overwhelming electoral victory, because even Fidesz voters do not want our country to be a Russian puppet state, a colony, an assembly plant, instead of belonging to Europe, he said. Because that really is the future. If you keep on cozying up to Russia, they're just going to invade you and give you Russian passports. You better start learning Russian now.
What he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants a protectorate.
Magyar and his parties... Oh, sorry, I accidentally left the Alt tab from sorry. Magyar and his party's meteoric rise caught many Hungarians by surprise. For nearly a decade and a half, a broad slate of fractured opposition parties had tried and failed to mount a serious threat to Orban's hold on power. It had to come from the inside, right? He came from the same party Orban's from. While opposition politicians often slammed Orban during debates in parliament, they rarely made efforts to win over his base of supporters in the rural countryside. Frustrated after a string of bitter losses, many opposition voters descended into political apathy. We're not going to win anyways. He's freaking has the vote from the rural people, so let's just not vote. Magyar, a 45-year-old lawyer and former Fidesz insider, was previously married to an Orbán ally who served as Hungary's justice minister. After working for several years as a diplomat in Brussels, he returned to Hungary and took positions in state institutions, gaining familiarity with the workings of Orbán's system and realizing, hey, maybe how Brussels run things isn't as bad as being a Russian protectorate. But then, in the wake of political scandal in 24 involving a presidential pardon to an accomplice in a child sexual abuse case, Magyar publicly broke with Orbán's party. Wow, I didn't hear about this. Orbán was like, yeah, it's okay that guy touched kids. Totally fine. No wonder he gets along with Trump so well. Magyar accusing Orbán of overseeing entrenched corruption and capturing Hungary's institutions. He quickly founded the center-right Tisza party, named for Hungary's second largest river, which only 4 months after Magyar's break into electoral politics won 30% of the vote in European Parliament elections. I would vote for this guy just from that. You know how many people don't do that, right? Like, he's not responsible for the pardon or anything, right? He's just somebody who's in the party. His party pardons a child sexual abuse case, and he's like, I'm not going to be in this party anymore. They fucking apologize for pedophiles. I'm out of here. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just look the other way and say, oh, it's nothing to do with me. I had no responsibility on that decision.
You mean
your
like
party's corrupt.
the Republican Party?
Exactly.
Christian
exactly.
nationalists? Christian nationalists are just child sex traffickers.
As the Tisza's popularity grew, a chant heard at its rallies became a motto for its rise. Tisza is flooding, as in the river is flooding. Well, Magyar has cast his task in election as dismantling Orbán's autocratic system. He has promised to keep some of Prime Minister's policies he views as positive, such as a fence along the southern border to keep out migrants and a popular utility reduction program. Hey, you got to pick and choose here, because he is trying. I guess the rural people, right? The rural people in the southern plains are very worried about migrants walking over. We got to put a fence up. Still, his party, a member of the European Parliament's largest centre-right group, diverges from the constellation of far-right political movements in Europe and beyond the view Orbán as a shining example of nationalist populism in action. In a sign of convicted felon Trump and his MAGA movement's admiration for Orbán, Vice President J.D. Vance set to visit Budapest on Tuesday to support his re-election. Another reason not to vote for the guy. There's so many reasons not to vote for Orbán, but we just keep piling him on. Many of EU leaders are watching Hungary's election in hopes that Orbán will be defeated and then go live out his final days on an island somewhere so he can leave us alone. His frequent vetoes, which most recently included blocking a major €90 billion, 104 billion EU loan for Ukraine, have often been to please his Eurosceptic base, Magyar said.
Wow.
Vetoing just to veto so he can say at home that he is vetoing. Look, see, I'm against the EU. Please like me. The Prime Minister's conduct has led to renewed calls within the EU to reform the bloc's foundational treaties by reducing the number of decisions that require unanimity. Are you okay?
No.
Okay. Require unanimity. A way to buttress against the paralysis that can be caused by an intransigent member state. Magyar said that under a Tisza government, European leaders can expect a constructive position, but one that is critical and willing to debate. We want to be there at the table. So, Orbán, hopefully on his way out, he keeps using Russian energy as a conciliatory reason to keep him in power. Well, we need to keep getting Russian energy. We can't possibly make new ways of energy or make ties with other countries. And that's the reason that he's mostly been vetoing things, because what about our Russian energy that we need? He's tied Hungary too close to Hungary. He's continually making exceptions for Hungary and their internal affairs. And Magyar is saying, hey, we need to start worrying about Hungary, not about, hey, but Russia is oil, though. And that's my story on the election in Hungary next week.
Okay, so the joke. Oh, J.D. Vance is going there next week, so I guess J.D. Vance is either gonna not to steal elections from Orban, or he's going to campaign for him, accusing the opposition of dogs. Because that's all they have is lies, chicanery, stealing votes, suppressing votes. Yay, fascism. I have no optimism that this is going to be a free and fair election, especially since Shady Vance is going there to learn from how to steal elections.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's a joke?
If it's a no, that was my joke. Yeah, Shady's gonna go there and say they're eating dogs. The opposition's eating dogs. That was their. That's all they ran on last year. I have no idea what else they ran on. You got people to vote for them. I don't know. A lot of stupid people in this world. Hey,
our next
there's your joke.
story is some good news.
Oh, good story, right?
Yeah, this was a very short one. So last year, I don't think we talked about that. I might have mentioned it offhand, but a golden helmet from Romania was stolen from a Dutch museum, and they've actually discovered and got it back after probably even less than a year, I think. This is from Euronews Culture. A priceless ancient golden helmet from Romania stolen last year from a museum in the Netherlands has been recovered, Dutch authorities announced yesterday on the 2nd of April. Under the guard of a heavily armed balaclava-clad police, prosecutors unveiled the 2,500-year-old Coton Fresti helmet, one of Romania's most revered national treasures from the Dacia civilization, during a news conference in eastern Dutch city of Assa. Why is it in Assa and not in Romania? Maybe you should give it back to them and it won't get stolen? Just an idea. We are incredibly pleased, Corian Fawner of the prosecution service told reporters. It has been a roller coaster, especially for Romania, but also for employees of the Drents Museum. The helmet was on display at the small museum in January 2025, the last weekend of a 6-month-long exhibition, when thieves broke in and grabbed it along with 3 golden wristbands. There were fears that the helmet may have been melted down because its fame and dramatic studded appearance made it virtually unsellable. 2 of the 3 missing armbands were also recovered as part of a deal prosecutors reached with the 3 men arrested for the heist shortly after it occurred. Their trial will begin later in April. Bonner said the search for the remaining armband will continue. The helmet did not, unfortunately, return unscathed. The helmet is slightly dented, but there will be no permanent damage, Drents Museum Director Robert Van Long, I think that's how you say it, said during the news conference. The armbands are in perfect condition. Thieves used a homemade fireworks bomb and sledgehammer to break into the museum. Grainy security video distributed by the police after the raid appeared to show 3 people opening a museum door with a large crowbar, followed by an explosion. The theft put a strain on relations between the Netherlands and Romania. Romanian Justice Minister Radu Marinescu late last year called the incident a crime against our state and said recovering the artifact is an absolute priority. Well, they did it. They found it. They got him back, and maybe they're gonna make an agreement to put it back in Romania or something. I don't know if it was on loan or that's all the details I've got here. It's a very, like I said, very short story, but yay! We got the golden helmet back.
Hey, something. Oh, yeah, man. The golden helmet. I don't really have a joke for that, except maybe Trump. I'm going to suspect Trump stole it, right? Because he loves things that are gold. And he especially loves golden showers, right? Anyway, there's your terrible joke.
Oh, dear.
Very terrible joke.
Let's roll our segue for our next story.
What do we get?
It's a non sequitur. Take it away.
All right. All right. My one story is we're going to talk about Meta and Google had a jury verdict against them. This is from NPR.org. Verdicts against Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, and I guess they actually own WhatsApp now too, right?
Yes.
And Google, the parent company of YouTube, amongst others. Bring a new era of big tech accountability. Shannon Bond has a story, and here is a list of, a picture here has got a list of teenagers who died by suicide in this picture. And a banner, points to a banner listing victims' names outside Los Angeles Superior Court on March 25th. The jury found Meta and YouTube liable for harming young women through the addictive design of their social media platforms. In 2017, Matthew Herrick sued the dating app Grindr after his ex-boyfriend used fake pictures to harass Herrick and send hundreds of strangers to his home. Herrick's lawyer, Carrie Goldberg, argued that Grindr had made a defective product because the company claimed it couldn't stop the harassment. But the case was thrown out on the grounds of a longstanding federal law that says online platforms aren't responsible for the content people's post. We appealed and lost every appeal, Goldberg said, and then the case was ultimately dismissed. The federal law, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act of 1996, has long been a shield that has stopped many lawsuits against tech companies in their tracks. But in the 9 years since Herrick sued Grindr, cracks have started to form. Courts become more and more in the arguments that tech companies can be held accountable for the way they design their products, the argument Goldberg made in the Grindr case. Decisions about how apps work and are monetized are things that, in my mind, the platform should be liable if they get wrong and injure somebody, Goldberg said. Yes. If you're not using
That's
it
a crazy concept.
there's no real instructions that come with social media. In 2021, Goldberg's Omegle, a video chat site accused of enabling child sexual exploitation, and the site shut down after the two sides reached an agreement. The same year, an appeals court set a lawsuit against Snapchat over a speed filter feature involved in a deadly car crash could proceed, rejecting the company's argument that the case should be thrown out on Section 230 grounds. Section 230 is that law from 1996 that gave a bunch of tech companies rights to, shit all over you, basically. The product liability argument takes a chapter from the legal campaign against big tobacco. We need this same theory to go after the gun manufacturers, by the way. Let's get them. A playbook advocates for tech accountability have embraced. Embraced is not a word. Last week, the legal strategy scored the highest profile of victories yet. Two separate jury trials in Los Angeles and New Mexico focused on how social media platforms can harm children. In LA, the jury found Instagram owner Meta and Google's YouTube deliberately designed their apps to be addictive. And again, YouTube, I don't know why you think I want to watch AI video, but they keep sending them to me. Contributed to the mental health struggles of young woman who started using this app as a child. It orders $6 million in damage. The New Mexico jury ordered Meta to pay the state $375 million for failing to protect users from child predators. What's the state going to do with that money? The company could face even more penalties in a second phase of the trial set up to start in May over whether Meta created a public nuisance. They are a public nuisance. Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres said he will also seek to ask the courts to force Meta to change its apps to make for. This is the dawn of a new era with people finally getting a hold tech platforms responsible for the harms they cause, Goldberg said. Chatbots, gambling apps, and video games could be next. Yes, these gambling apps are already hard to use. And again, they're gambling on wars. Let's eliminate that shit. Let's just get rid of that. Let's make that illegal. Sarah Gardner was outside the courtroom downtown LA when the verdict came down. She leads the HEAT initiative, an advocacy group that focuses on online child safety. Says the recent verdicts mark a strong turning point for that work. I just created a different playing field than we had even a few months ago, she said. Meta and Google both plan to appeal the verdicts. Of course, they got billions of dollars to waste on stupid court procedures. They can drag this out forever because, that's what rich people do. Meta says teen mental health could be linked to a single app, can't be linked to a single app, and Google says YouTube isn't social media. Ultimately, many expect the Supreme Court will end up weighing in on our legal theory of liability. If YouTube isn't social media, why do you have a message board on every video that wants one, where people can communicate? It is social media. By definition, it's social media. People talking on it makes it social media. Email is social media, folks. But there are already more similar lawsuits underway. Thousands of other related cases against social media platforms are working their way through the state and federal courts. Other cases are being filed against makers of video games, online gambling, artificial intelligence chatbots. The credit rating agency's Moody's counts more than 4,000 pending cases, targeting 166 companies alleging addictive software design. Go get them! That's what I got to say about that. That law includes a lawsuit filed in Massachusetts state court a day after a verdict against Meta and YouTube was delivered. It accuses sports betting sites DraftKings and FanDuel of fostering gambling addictions. Good luck with that one. You might as well sue. You might as well sue casinos. I don't know how DraftKings and FanDuel. They're not creating. Yes, they definitely are feeling a gambling addiction. But at least you're not heading out to the casino, right? You're not spending all night at the casino. You're staying home with your family and losing money.
But to be fair, I think the casino, right, can kick you out. So that's possible to stop. You can be stopped from gambling. You can't kick somebody off of DraftKings.
Oh yeah, they can kick you off DraftKings. Yeah, they can. Well, actually, I don't know if they can or not. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they'll kick you off for losing too much money. But they might scramble your signal or something if you're winning money. Oh my God, I can't log on. I won $1 million. I can't log on. They're like, good luck. I don't know. I never bet more than like a couple dollars on any of these gambling. Anyway, back to the story. By the way, DraftKings, you can't bet on college sports in the state of Oregon. I know that for a fact, but you can in Maryland. So you can definitely tailor these apps for the specific states. The suit argues that the gambling apps are designed to encourage compulsive use, including targeting users with personalized bonuses, urging them to keep betting. That's not good. Model, folks. Yeah. That's every business model in the history of business. Is that? I don't know why you think gambling's got to be different.
Just because something's always happened doesn't mean it's right. I don't agree with that argument.
Here's the attraction to gambling. The attraction to gambling is not you're making me gamble because you're evil. The attraction to gambling is I get something for nothing, right? That's the attraction. It's always been the attraction. We might as well outlaw the lottery because a lot of people take $50 a week and just throw it down a hole called the lottery. Let's make that illegal too because they're on TV all day long telling you gotta play the lottery.
That's an extreme line you're making there.
No, it isn't. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Gambling addicts are throwing money away for a chance at some money, and that's all they ever do. That's what gambling addicts do. They piss away money. It's just what they do. Gambling. Yeah. Again, we're gonna probably see lawsuits against DraftKings, but I would think the more harmful ones are the ones that bet on things like war. That one should be taken down completely. It's personalized itself to you, Huckster said, as the we're not just showing. Oh, let's do this again. We're not just showing that, hey, they spent too much time on this app and it caused them to lose some money, said Jennifer Huckster, a partner firm of Allstock, Witkin, Kreis, and Overholtz, who was representing the plaintiff. The firm also involved the social media lawsuit in LA. It has personalized yourself to you, Huckster said. If you don't log in for 72 hours, it starts telling you, hey, if you made a bet in this match, you could have made this much money. I have never experienced that. I've had DraftKings on my phone for like 3-4 years now. I've never gotten any message of that sort. Maybe I'm not as addicted to gambling as some of these folks are. In a statement, DraftKings said it will vigorously defend against these lawsuits. FanDuel, which I don't know about FanDuel. I got DraftKings on my phone. Advocates hope their early legal victories against the social media platforms generate much momentum outside the courtroom to pass along stalled tech regulation to force change in Silicon Valley. If you go and look at what really changed in the tobacco industry, it wasn't one thing, it was everything together. Said Gardner, the child safety advocate. When it comes to tech, she said the question is, how do you actually create enough pressure that will change the business incentives? The only way we're going to change the behavior is you internalize the cost of safety. This is way too long. Sorry about the length of this article. Told me it was going to be shorter, but I'm ending it right there because that's the end of it. So let's have us. Right. You
already forgot? Non sequitur. This is why humanities are so important because people are always saying like, humanities aren't useful. You don't make money off of it or anything. And it's like, okay, but it explains why shit is broken. It explains why humans are broken and how they mess everything up. And it defines what social media is, for example, right? Through the humanities, we can understand why people flock to social media, how social media is used to control people's thoughts. Or I should say influence. They don't control anybody, but they influence you in a way that can control you, right? Oh!
Right.
You really liked watching that one video about this subject. Let's keep giving you more of that. And more of that. And then you get put into a little rabbit hole of hyper-focusing on this one subject. And then, that kind of stuff. And I think that's what they're arguing with when it comes for the gambling things, right? They're saying... Gambling, sure. I'm gonna gamble who's gonna win the game tomorrow, whatever. The problem is they say, oh, you gambled on who's gonna win the game yesterday. You should gamble on this too. Oh, and you should also gamble on that. And here's another thing you could gamble on. And I think that's what they're arguing is bad, is that it keeps giving you suggestions on, hey, you can keep spending your money. Wait, why don't you try doing, and it gives you suggestions like, you should gamble on who's gonna win and also who's gonna make the most... Score the most goals or something too. Why don't you just add that in there?
I'm not experienced.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't use any of these apps, but I think they're arguing that there's something in the app that is forcing you to make ideas that are not from yourself. Right? They're not coming from you, they're coming from inside the app, an idea. And that is dangerous for the human mind.
Well, what I'm saying is, they say maybe FanDuel is sending out emails saying you must gamble. This is gambling. You must gamble. You must gamble.
You're gonna miss, You're gonna miss your chance to win big on the game happening right now. Yeah, whatever. The Dodgers are playing. Don't forget to gamble on it. That kind of stuff is that. I do not agree with anything like that. Saying, hey, don't forget to gamble. That seems like enforcing an addiction to me.
I just did a search. on DraftKings on my email, just see how many emails I get. I get one every day, but they're all in my spam folder, right? Mm-hmm. So I've
they belong.
Them, so yeah. So you just put that in your spam. You won't have to get those emails anymore. Just use your brain, folks. I mean, if you're gonna gamble, you're gonna gamble. I'm not necessarily thinking that people are becoming gambling addicts because of this app, but it's definitely possible, right?
Sadly, a lot of people aren't using their brain. It's really hard. It's really hard to use your brain. It's way easier to not use it. So.
And another thing they can do on these gambling apps, they can limit you to how much money you can bet on any given event. And I think they do. And they also probably limit you on they probably could limit you how many bets you make in a day. I would do that. I would do that too. That would be a simple way to do it. Social media platforms serve no purpose. They serve no purpose whatsoever. They don't serve any purpose. None. Zero. They don't serve any. Anybody can talk to anybody anywhere they want to now. You don't need a platform to do it. Why do you need a platform? You don't. You can start a group chat on your text messages. What do you need a social media platform? To lie to you? To give you bad news? To give you fake news? Yeah. Facebook could disappear tomorrow and the world would just move right along without it.
They would just find another one.
Doing fine without it. Yeah, exactly. So. That goes for all of these so-called...
Before Facebook existed, people were on forums. They would log on to ilovekingdomhearts.com and they would just talk for hours and hours on there. That's what they were doing, so...
Yeah, before Facebook, I was on a forum talking sports or whatever. People would start their own
and then before that, right before forums, people were going to the bar and meeting up with their friends there and talking about things. So...
Right.
You can't stop that.
There's nothing redeeming about Facebook anymore. It is completely, it's just gone. All of these, as Twitter, all of them. It's just like there's no redeeming. There's nothing redeeming about you anymore. I can get news anywhere. I can get information anywhere. I can communicate with people other places. Yeah. You serve no purpose. You're too big. You need to fold. So I'm glad they're suing them.
Okay, so that's your only story, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Also, thank you, Josh, for the 100 stream streak. I don't know why I didn't tell me that, but thank you for the 100 stream streak. Not missing a single one. That's crazy. Let's roll that segue, Will.
Right.
We're going to reminds me of a song. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm lying. Accurate metaphor simile. It looks like it was landing on reminds me of a song, but it stopped.
Aye.
So, accurate metaphor and simile for my story, which is my culture news. I know we kind of talked about a little bit of culture with the Romanian golden helmet, but this is about the return of Bryan Cranston and Malcolm in the Middle. It's from Alexi Duggins on The Guardian. The intro to the new Malcolm in the Middle is quite the thing. Kids punch police officers, Santa Claus gets kicked in the face, and a barrel full of feces detonates inside a family car. This recap of previous episodes so full of gross-out comedy and family fights that a grandma grabs her teenage grandson and crushes his testicles until he squeals. And, in tows a voiceover at its end, someone actually asked for more of this. Did they? It's been 20 years since the Emmy-winning sitcom about an outrageous working-class U.S. family with titular child genius went off air. It's a show whose fans remember it fondly, but never dipping in quality throughout its 7 seasons. But were they really clamoring for more? It was in all the magazines, says Frankie Muniz, aka lead character Malcolm. In 2015, he casually tweeted that it could be so cool to catch up with the characters I couldn't believe the response. I was shocked. Although, really, he shouldn't have been. After all, he's spent decades getting first-hand experience of how much more loved the show is than he ever dreamed. Give me a sec, there's an ad. Let me snooze it. One of the wildest was the first time I went overseas. I have no idea people knew the show there. I was in Geneva, walking with my girlfriend, and people were looking. By the end of it, we were literally being chased down the street. When I'm in Europe, or I'm in Mexico, or in Central America, people love the show so much that I'm not comparing myself to the Beatles at all, but it almost was the odd level of what is happening. Fans should be happy. The reputed Malcolm in the Middle, subtitled Life's Still Unfair, after the theme tune lyrics, is even every bit the laugh-out-loud pleasure that the original was. The 4.5-hour episode, which reunites the original cast for parents Lois and Hal's 40th wedding anniversary celebration, are full of killer gags, surreal humor, and out of OTT family showdowns ranging from siblings calling the tax office on each other to Malcolm attempting to win an argument about not being stuck up by keying his own car. It's comedic joy. That is something Malcolm would do, right? See, I'm not stuck up, keys his own car. See, I can have fun. That sounds like something Malcolm would do. Oh, that's really funny. It would never have been made without one man. The series really came to be following a conversation Muniz had shortly after that tweet. I had dinner with Bryan, and I remember him saying something like, "There's no role I'd want to revisit more than Hal." So he took the lead. It's thanks to Bryan that it really did happen. And then there is a screenshot from the show of Bryan Cranston in a towel. And that's all you really need to know about that. That, just to be clear, is Bryan Cranston, aka the star of Breaking Bad, widely regarded as one of the greatest TV shows of all time. He won the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor 4 times in 5 seasons, creating one of the finest performances ever committed to screen. Is it not surprising that one role he's keenest to surprise is a goofball dad with a penchant for stumbling into ludicrous slapstick scenarios? I think it's because he's been murdering so many people on other shows, laughs Jane Kaczmarek. Jane Kaczmarek, who plays Malcolm's mother, Lois. He's like, wow, I can go back and be Hal again? The opportunity to have fun certainly isn't one that Cranston wastes in the new episodes. He performs a full-on choreographed dance routine in a supermarket aisle. He attempts to microdose, accidentally takes enough hallucinogens for 15 elephants, and ends up imagining himself as a 9 Inch Nails Trent Reznor, replete with thigh-high leather boots. He's repeatedly naked, including a callback to Hal's habit of stripping down so Lois can shave off his excess body hair while his kids watch in horror. Taking my clothes off seems to be my whole life, laughs Cranston, who recently won an Emmy for appearing in an episode of Seth Rogen's comedy The Studio, in which he wore a leopard skin thong. I thought nudity clause meant that I was circumspect as to when someone was going to be naked. I didn't know my agent viewed a nudity clause as nudity is essential. So here he is, a 70-year-old man parading around in his skivvies, or less. Cranston's all-or-nothing approach won't exactly shock fans of the original Malcolm in Middle. As far as he's concerned, the more extreme of his commitment, the funnier the joke. I can't even recall the things that I've done, but all in the name of comedy, man. You gotta go for it, he said. I was covered in blue paint. I was tied in front of a city bus. I had 60,000 honeybees all over me. I got stung in my crotch. In one episode, I had to drink a concoction of raw meat and eggs. You had to? Yeah, of course I did, because I wanted to, because I know the audience would wonder if I really did it. So in the same shot that I'm cracking eggs, putting raw meat in, and blending it, I start drinking it. And this is the role you were desperate to do over. It was 7 great years of my life, in which I met the most wonderful people. There's no better job than going to work and thinking of how to be funny. The intervening years have taken the cast in very different directions. Kazmarek took a hiatus from acting as my life went topsy-turvy and I got divorced shortly after the show ended and had 3 kids that I really wanted to raise. Eric Perselvin, who played Malcolm's younger brother Dewey, is currently studying for a master's degree at Harvard, which is hilarious because he's kind of a dummy in the show, and is the only member of the original family to be recast. Kaczmarek said he's studying Dickens as an incredible student. They offered him buckets of money to come back and he said, "No thank you." Such a Dewey thing to do, too. Muniz threw himself into alternative ventures, from becoming a professional racing driver to running an olive oil shop with his wife, in which he was personally filling 600 bottles a day, because I want to make sure everything's perfect. The latter came as no surprise to the cast. I remember him saying once in his makeup chair he was thinking about buying warehouses in Australia, laughs Kaczmarek, and I thought, what 16-year-old kid is thinking about buying a warehouse? He was a good kid. He didn't drink, he didn't do drugs, he was a real straight arrow. Given that some of them stepped away from the acting, you can't help but wonder whether it felt odd to be back on screen, especially given that one of them became quite possibly the greatest actor of his generation. I think Brian was more nervous to work with me again, laughs Muniz. I wasn't intimidated to work with him because he's always been such an amazing guy to me. Throughout all the support, whatever I'm doing. When I had the olive oil company, he bought the olive oil. I was in a band, he came to the shows. When I was racing, he checked on me after a wreck. I was just excited to spend more time with him. Wow, a real second dad to him, huh? This is the vibe that comes across pretty clearly on the show. To see the cast back together is to marvel at the chemistry that is somehow every bit as vigorous after 2 decades apart. Second child Reese, Justin Bearfield, steals scenes with his hilariously malevolent rivalry with Malcolm and non-binary sibling Kelly, the one new addition to the cast, as Lois was pregnant with them in the original run, played by Vaughn Marie. Eldest son Francis, Christopher Kennedy Masterson, manic and futile determination to be the apple of his mother eye, is still hilarious. Mom, I'm a senior management. I have 75 people under me. That's 75 people plotting to replace you. It's exactly the slice of joy that worlds need right now. Did the team ever feel like helping to bring some laughter into people's lives was a public service, given how dark the world feels? Comedy is essential right now. It's not even important, it's essential, says Cranston, because it's a break from the bombardment of non-stop information. People who have the news on 24 hours a day in their homes. I don't think they realize the damage they're doing. You might as well make a house full of asbestos or just have radiation constantly emitting through your house. There is one thing about bringing the show back that doesn't feel quite right, though. When the original run wanted to prove Lois' unshakable belief in Malcolm, it ended with her telling him he could be the greatest person on the planet. The U.S. President. God, who would want to do that now, says Kaczmarek. Talk about unfair. Look who we got as president. If only Lois had raised Donald Trump, she could have put a couple of good kicks up his backside. So there it is, Malcolm in the Middle, Life is Still Unfair, is going to be on Disney Plus on 10 April. I'm sure you can find it in other places if you so desire. And that's my reading of somebody's review of the show. Your camera's off.
Camera's off.
Yeah.
Okay. What the hell happened? Must have bumped my computer, huh? Let me see. Let me reboot. All right.
There you are.
All right. I have a correction to make before I do my metaphor. It was not Neil Patrick Harris. It's just a stunning look-alike of Neil Patrick Harris that played the older brother, Francis. His name is Christopher Masterson. Does that last name sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
Why? Danny Masterson's brother.
Yeah.
The guy who's in jail now for groping.
Being a Scientologist.
So that's really interesting. Yeah. So anyway, my metaphor is Malcolm in the Middle. When I first started watching it, it came on directly after The Simpsons. It's right after The Simpsons. Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Mm-hmm,
I considered it kind of like let's call it the Meat Simpsons, right? They're a lot like The Simpsons, right? There's these
just
like
real
the meat
people.
Version of the meat version of Homer. Malcolm is the meat version of Lisa, like the actual smart one in the family.
Yeah.
Who's misunderstood and ignored, then bullied and just marginalized. So it's kind of a Simpson meat version of the Simpsons. That's my metaphor, or my simile. The meaty Simpsons.
All right. Sounds good. I can agree with that. I never really watched the show because it was always after The Simpsons, right? I mostly just experienced it as in that way. I never watched like a full season or anything like that.
That explains why they didn't have to pay Neil Patrick Harris twice what they paid the rest of the cast, because it wasn't him. It wasn't him.
They do look very familiar. It's just you're right about that.
Exactly the same. They look like this. They could be brothers.
Secret brothers, yeah. I mean, it looks more like less like his actual brother. I would say they don't look anything alike his actual brother.
Yeah.
Probably because of the
Maybe
beard.
They're like Bill Burr and Billy Corgan, right? They're secretly brothers. Let's spin a wheel for my segment and
let's get this show on the road.
Well, it's on the road. Let's get it off the road, right?
Let's park it,
pull it into the
reverse
station.
it. Yeah, let's pull into the station. Hopefully you remind me of a song with this day in history. I'm sure there's going to be an artist in there somewhere. Also, did you send me a video?
Yes, I did.
Okay, then I'll put that in now.
In 1879, we're not even going that far back.
Oh, damn.
Sofia.
Not much happening.
Bulgaria. Yeah, this day, Sofia, which is not a person but a city in Bulgaria, was liberated by the Ottoman Empire by Russian troops and was named the capital of Bulgaria. 1892, while adjusting a picture on the wall of his home in St. Joe's, Missouri, American outlaw Jesse James was shot and killed by Robert Ford. That should remind you of a song. I don't know. Reminds me of a song by Elton John. Anyway, 1992, Joseph Stalin, that guy, became Secretary General of the Communist Party, the Soviet Union, a position that provided the power base for his dictatorship. Not too long after Lenin died. 1922, Doris Day was born. Her performances in movie musicals in 1950s and sex comedies, tantalizing sex comedies of the early 1960s, made her a leading Hollywood star. She was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, and did a lot of sex comedies with Rock Hudson. He was very closeted in those times. 1924, stage and motion picture actor Marlon Brando was born in Omaha, Nebraska. Speaking of closeted, yes, Marlon was gay. 1930, Helmut Kohl served as Chancellor of West Virginia, and reunified Germany, was born in Luftwagen am Rhein, Germany. Helmut Kohl, one of the he was the first prime minister of the reunified Germany. Hey, way to go, Helmut. Great name, Helmet. He was named after that thing you wear on your head. 1946, Japanese Army General Homa Basharu was executed for forcing the Bataan Death March in 1942. Good for you, you pile of shit. Anyway, 1948, U.S. President Harry Truman signed into law the George C. Marshall's post-World War II plan to revive the economies of Western, Southern European countries so as to foster democracy in the region. Hey, we better get these economies going or they're just going to turn communist. And that's a good idea. Let's help them out. So one of the reasons Western Europe did not fall under the Soviet heel is because of the Marshall Plan. You're welcome, Europe. 1961, comedian actor Eddie Murphy. Happy birthday to Eddie Murphy, turning 65 today. He's old enough to get that full Social Security check. I do hope Eddie Murphy's not claiming his Social Security. I'm sure he's far beyond. Oh, I better get a check for $2,337. And of course, he did pay Social Security, as all working actors do, pay Social Security on their first $130,000 they earn. So that's his money. If he wants it, he can have it. 1968, at an event for the Memphis sanitation workers strike, civil rights activist Martin Luther King delivered his mountaintop speech, and he was assassinated the very next day. So April 4th, 1968 was the day Martin Luther King was shot in Memphis. And he was supporting sanitation workers in their strike. Oh no, we don't want workers' rights. Hey, I am so confused about the poor people that don't want workers to have rights. I don't know what they're smoking. 1973, the first handheld mobile telephone call was made to an employee of Motorola who called AT&T's Bell Laboratories and said, "Nanny, nanny, boo-boo, we invented it first." Anyway, so Motorola employee did that. He probably didn't get any credit. Probably retired. Is probably living in destitution the rest of his life, right? But Motorola made money. 1996, federal agents in Montana apprehended Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber. He was turned in by his own brother. He said, "Hey, that guy's manifesto, he writes just like my crazy brother lives in a shack in Montana." Wait a minute, my brother lives in a shack in Montana? What a weirdo. I'll bet you it's him. Anyway, he had killed 3 people and injured more than 20 more with explosives through U.S. Postal Service between 1978 and 1995. Again, people he never met, people that never had a gripe with him, just innocent people opening mail. What a giant pile of shit. He died in prison, by the way. Good place for him. 2016, Revelations found more than 11 million documents. Remember this? Do we remember this? Why has this been suppressed? We have the Epstein files, but do we remember the Panama Papers? Let's review the Panama Papers. Revelations found in more than 11 million documents. Law firm. This is only 10 years ago, by the way. Originally leaked to a German newspaper or made in public over a year, reporting by hundreds of journalists from around the world. The Panama Papers caused widespread anger, showing how wealthy clients of the firm systematically concealed the riches and avoided paying taxes. It's been 10 years. All the rich people have just gotten richer and richer and richer and richer and richer because the American public just decided to promote fascism, right? All of its forms, every form of fascism. And rich people get to keep all their money. Yay! The abuse, yay! So 10 years of, we ain't learned a damn thing in 10 years. 1860 is our event. This is the end of the beginning of the Pony Express. It didn't last very long because trains became a thing. They already were a thing, by the way. And telegraph also became a thing. The Pony Express begins delivering letters on this day in 1860. The Pony Express launched, setting a new standard for delivering mail. Exhausted horses. Horseback riders left St. Louis, Missouri and Sacramento, California simultaneously to deliver mail across the country. 10 days later, the westbound rider arrived in Sacramento to fanfare and celebration, and the Pony Express was now the fastest way to deliver mail across the country. Young men, often under the age of 18, were hired to ride cross country through the unforgiving terrain and safely deliver their cargo.
Child labor.
October of 8. What's that?
You said under the age of 18. Child labor.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can work when you're 16. You can work when you're 14 in a lot of states. And if you're farm labor, there is no limit. Anyway, young men were hired to cross country through the terrain. When it was finally retired in 1861, it had not made a profit. It lost money. The telegraph became the new standard of communication shortly thereafter, but the Pony Express had made its mark, helping to deliver news of President Abraham Lincoln's election and creating folk heroes like William Buffalo Bill Cody. That's a long write-up. I apologize. Featured biography is Fazlur R. Khan, an American engineer who is, here's a couple of buildings he built. He was born in 1929 in Dhaka, India. He died in 1882 at the age of 52 in Saudi Arabia. Other birthdays today, Marlon Brando, we did. Tony Benn, British politician, born in 1925. Jane Goodall passed away late last year. She brought us to the primates and let us appreciate the Monkeys, he was born 1934. She would be 92 today. Alec Baldwin's birthday. He was born 1958, American actor. So Alec Baldwin turning 68. Same birthday as Eddie Murphy. That's really cool. And our National Day calendars, we get to the bottom of this. It's Find a Rainbow Day. It's Good Friday. Not to be confused with Terrible Friday or Shitty Friday. It's Good Friday. So have a good Friday. Anyway, National Chocolate Day, your dessert. National Film Score Day and National Tweed Day. So those are your haikus. About to have a song. About to have a lot of things. Your firings of attorneys general and your appointment of sycophants to guard the Epstein files for the rest of your life if you can. For Friday, April 3rd, on Before Chocolate Moves.
Almost got the wrong date there. Okay, for
I'm lucky I get
our
the right year, quite frankly. Our song.
For the song that reminds me of, since it's National Film Score Day, my favorite film score, of course, being the Lord of the Rings film score by Howard Shore. I would like listening to that thing from beginning to end. The score is so good, right, that you can...
Film score.
Yeah. You can feel the entire movie, right? You can imagine the entire movie hearing just the score. And for bonus points, my favorite video game score is Final Fantasy 13. So there you go. I appreciate a good OST, as you call them.
If it's anything like Queen, like the Queen Flash Gordon soundtrack, the soundtrack's better than the movie. Don't even.
There's no way I could say that about Lord of the Rings, but okay.
Right. Yeah, right. I know.
The soundtrack is just as good as the movie, is what I'll say, okay?
Flash.
Very good. Okay. Then for Friday, there are no international observances, but there is some, I think, on Saturday and Sunday, if I remember what I saw correctly. Yes. Tomorrow is International Day for Mine Awareness and Assistance in Mine Action. Because people are mining stuff still. They're setting off those TNT and blowing things up. In 2026, the International Day for Mine Awareness and Assistance in Mine Action will be commemorated under the theme of Invest in Peace, Invest in Mine Action. This theme draws out the foundational importance of lands being cleared from explosive threats in communities living in the absence of fear from these indiscriminate weapons for peace and able to prosper. Right. The worst things that have ever been invented by human beings, mines. Just sitting out there, blowing people up, blowing kids' limbs off, killing animals who don't even, animals can't read, watch out, minefields. They're just gonna walk in there and blow up. So many victims of mines, and people who put them down are bastards. That's my opinion. Whoever you are, you're a bastard for putting down a mine. On Sundays is National Day of Conscience. So, people out here love guilt, I guess. Being able to feel... having a clear sense of right or wrong. That's what you're celebrating on Sunday. So, if you need to, get a Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder, your angel, your devil, and telling you, hey, don't do that. Get started towards modern quest for peace by having a conscience and realizing, hey, this thing I'm doing might affect other people. Is that good or is that bad? This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US, as we finish off another week of news in the world we live in. We'll see you next Monday for a Mucking Fun Day, so make sure you don't pay attention to those headlines over the weekend because we got you covered. If you're not already subscribed to the Before Coffee podcast channel on YouTube, please do that wherever you're watching this. Please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your dog, because we need more subscribers so that we get pushed on the algorithm. Liking the video, commenting, also very helpful. Thank you everyone who's already supporting the show, whether you're following or subscribed or a Before Coffee supporter on Patreon. And here is our mic drop moment.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment.
Is 65
Our arms must
years
be
old.
mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction.
The last Republican
Our military
president
organization
was
today
listening to
bears little
had
relation
Yes.
to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry.
No.
American
Suddenly it
makers of
does.
plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions.
And the biggest one in
Added
the
to
world.
this, 3.5 million men and women
This
are
is the
directly engaged in the
military-industrial
defense
complex
establishment.
speech.
Yep.
We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil,
Yes.
resources,
We are
and
killing
livelihood
people and
are
making
all
money
involved.
from it.
So is the very structure
Let's
of
get
our
to the key
society.
word. We're getting to the key part here.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous
MIC.
rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
Yep.
We must
You better
never
listen
let
to
the
me. I'm
weight
not gonna
of
give
this
you all the
combination
bombs.
endanger our liberties or democratic
That's right.
processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and
Of course,
knowledgeable
he did give us
citizen
Nixon,
can
unfortunately.
compel
Yeah,
the
sadly.
proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of
Very
defense
key word there.
with our peaceful methods and goals,
Paying attention, being
so that
alert.
security and liberty
to
may prosper
corruption.
together.
Nope, we didn't do that.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.